and all. Let's begin with the book of Genesis, okay? The book of Genesis, chapter 2, says, "It is a day made holy by God Himself." I don't think we have any authority to change it. "Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them, and all of the hosts of them. And on the seventh day God ended His work which He had made, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it He had rested from all His work which God created and made." Now you will notice that some of these slides will be kind of awkward. You will be thinking like, why is this connected with what he's saying? Well, I'll try to explain it to you. Because do we believe that God really rested? He doesn't have to rest, right? But He made a point, because we believe that everything that is recorded in the scriptures about God's action is for our own benefit, so we can follow in the footsteps of God. Isaiah, "If you hold back your foot on the Sabbath from following your own pursuits on my holy day, if you call the Sabbath a delight and the Lord's holy day honorable, if you honor it by not following your ways, then you shall delight in the Lord. And I will make you ride on the heights of the earth. I will nourish you with the heritage of Jacob your father, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken." From this passage we see how important it is for God Himself that we honor His day. That He has chosen one day when we change what we do and we think of the Lord. That's our concentration. And how do we do it? Through worshiping Him. Exodus 20. "Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, neither you, nor your son or daughter, nor you male or female servant, nor your animals, nor any foreigner residing in your towns. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, but He rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Deuteronomy 5. "Observe the Sabbath day by keeping it holy, as the Lord your God has commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God." I think I've made the point that it is pretty important. It was pretty important in the Old Testament, and it all obviously should be important for the New Testament, for obvious reasons, to make the Sabbath holy. We'll talk about what is the Sabbath. Is it Saturday or Sunday, and why? The Catechism of the Catholic Church, the celebration of Sunday observes the moral commandment inscribed by nature in the human heart to render to God an outward, visible, public, and regular worship as a sign of His universal beneficence to all. Sunday worship fulfills the moral commandment of the Old Testament, taking up its rhythm and spirit in the weekly celebration of the Creator and Redeemer of His people. What is the most important thing during Sunday? The most important thing is to separate time and make sure that we go to church and attend Mass. That is the core of our faith. No one says you have to do it every single day. No one says you have to do it twice a week. But you must do it on Sunday. That's God's command. That's all He wants. That's the minimum we have to fulfill in order to call ourselves even Catholics. The minimum. That's Mass. Sunday Eucharist is necessary to make the day holy and reflect on the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. The Sunday Eucharist is the foundation and confirmation of all Christian practice. For this reason, the faithful are obliged to participate in the Eucharist on days of obligation, unless excused for a serious reason. For example, illness, the care of infants, or dispensed by their own pastor. And now, what does it mean by that? You know, I grew up in Poland, right? And the Catholic Church was a little, the way we approach some things was a little bit different. For example, on Sunday, when I lived on a farm, during the harvest, sometimes we had a really bad weather. There was no time to gather the harvest. And suddenly, weekend was the only time it was not raining. Saturday and Sunday, the forecast predicted that it wouldn't rain. So people would go to the pastor of my little village and ask for dispensation so they could work on Sunday. No one would dare even going to the field without his permission, because he's the vicar of Christ, and that's God's given law. We don't work on Sunday. So we would go and ask for permission, and the permission was granted. And then people would go freely after attending Mass, or he would say a special Mass for them, but they would go and gather the harvest. Those who deliberately fail in this obligation commit a grave sin. That's the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 2181. Here are some of the occupations, some of the examples of people who have to work on Sunday. Are they dismissed from the obligation? No. They have to seek other ways to attend. Unless it's really impossible for them to make the Saturday Vigil Mass, they are obliged to go. Even if they work 12 hours a day, you still have the obligation, unless you drive this bus, to go, right? Well, these are some of these occupations that prevent us from going to regular Masses. By the way, that is why Saturday Vigil Mass was allowed. In my country back in Europe, there is still no Saturday Vigil Mass. It's only on Sunday. You have more Masses, but it's only on Sunday. Here it was granted to be able to go on Saturday, and everybody thinks that it's just another... No, you should go on Sunday. Unless you cannot go, and I better be a better reason than shopping on Sunday, then you go on Saturday. But we have to make these things straight. We remember, we are looking for the murderer of the sanctity of Sunday. Just as God rested on the seventh day from all His work which He had done, human life has a rhythm of work and rest. The institution of the Lord's Day helps everyone enjoy adequate rest and leisure to cultivate their familiar, cultural, social, and religious lives. That's the focus of Sunday. Prayer, spending time with family, cultivation of family life.